What's up, guys? Beer here back in the Fantasy Bar. 6 of my favorite plays for a big Wednesday night slate in the NBA covering FanDuel, DraftKings, and Yahoo. Who is my favorite value play on the slate? Who do I think is underpriced on the slate? And who is my favorite play of the night? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome in, guys. Wednesday edition Beers Daily Fantasy 6-pack. Good to be back here once again in the Fantasy Bar. Huge slate of games here on Wednesday night. And I'm back once again with 6 of my favorite plays fresh off the tap for you. Nobody over 9K on FanDuel and DraftKings. Try to make life easy on you. Make that lineup building process easy. Got a ton of games to choose from. Before we get into it, let's talk Zion Williamson. Not going to include him here today in the 6-pack, but expected to make his debut here tonight. If ownership, we'll see. Keep an eye on it. Not saying he's out of play, but we'll leave him on the sidelines for now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. Make sure you get notified when the videos are coming out. Also, if you enjoy the Fantasy Bar, whether it's your first time or you're a long-time bar patron, do me a favor. Click that thumbs up button. Really helps us out, and we'll say thank you later on in the video with a special contest. Now, let's jump into the plays here for today. Again, big slate of games. Lots of choices to be made here. We're going to start the point guard position with Kemba Walker of the Celtics. So I see these prices on Kemba Walker, and I think they're too cheap. You look at that FanDuel price at $6,800. So his price touched $6,700, but for the most part, we've been paying in the 7s, the 8s for this guy all season long. So it's $6,800, $74 on DraftKings. I think it's a nice buy low spot here on Kemba Walker. We're looking at this massive slate of games. All these teams playing tonight. Guess who has the highest projected team total? You got the answer right in front of you there on the graphic. Boston projected for 120 points in this matchup. We know this is not the Memphis Grizzlies of old. This is a team that loves to get up and down the floor, and they play very little defense, especially against the point guard position. 27th in defensive efficiency against this position. Bottom 10 in fantasy points allowed. Kemba Walker, great spot here. Great prices given those lineups tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. All right, let's go to point guard, small forward, Will Barton of the Nuggets. So small forward on FanDuel, you can utilize him at point guard. On DraftKings if you want. I would still stick with the small forward designation there. But point is, with all the injuries with Denver, we still have no Jamal Murray, no Gary Harris, no Paul Millsap. The minutes, the production, all been there for Will Barton. In fact, the floor been very solid with this guy. 30 or more fantasy points now in 10 of the last 12 games. The GPP ceiling is there as well. We know this guy can pop off at any time for 40, 45, 50 fantasy points here. And the Rockets have struggled. We look at defense versus archetype, something you can find on RotoGrinders.com. Scoring wings like Will Barton have really put it to the Houston Rockets here. Again, bottom 3 against this type of player. So it's all there. The minutes are there. Short in rotation with all the injuries. The floor, the ceiling. Will Barton, tremendous spot here tonight against the Houston Rockets. All right, we're not done with the Denver Nuggets. Next pick for us with some value at point guard with Monte Morris. So I know a lot of you have probably been playing Monte Morris. You're kind of sick of it. Well, we had to be encouraged by that last game and still playing a ton of minutes right now. He's down the pecking order offensively. I think they're going to need his offense here a little bit more against Houston tonight. Should be a higher scoring game. Denver gets the biggest pace jump on the slate here tonight playing against the Houston Rockets. So obviously goes without saying how important that is. Higher pace, more possessions, more opportunities, more usage for our players, especially a guy like Monte Morris, who's going to have the ball in his hands a ton in this game. And the Rockets grade out pretty good in a lot of defensive stats, but fantasy points, bottom 10 to the point guard position here. So Monte Morris, still pretty cheap. Love that $4,000 price point on FanDuel and the $12 on Yahoo, even DraftKings under 5K. There's plenty of meat on that bone here tonight with Monte Morris. All right, moving right along back to the mid-range at power forward center, Marvin Bagley of the Kings. So pricing-wise, you look at him, $65 on DraftKings. I'm good with that. $51 on FanDuel, $20 on Yahoo. I think he's a cash game lock at those prices. Tournament plays across the board here with Marvin Bagley. Another guy where the minutes starting to trend up here. The fantasy production, surprise, surprise, goes right with that increase in minutes. And we know he was coming off the injury. Minutes were limited a little bit, but the last couple games averaging over 36 FanDuel points a game. And why do we look at just these 2 games they were against much tougher defenses. Utah, Miami, he played well against those teams. What's he going to do against a team that ranks 30th in the NBA in defensive efficiency against the power forward position? My answer, he's going to go nuts here against the Detroit Pistons. As good of a matchup as it gets and way too cheap on FanDuel and Yahoo tonight. Lock in some Marvin Bagley against the Detroit Pistons. All right, let's stay down low. Let's get you a center. We're going to stay in the mid-range with MONTREZL Harrell of the Clippers. So the Clippers, Mavericks, the only game on the slate last night. I know a lot of people worry about back-to-back, so I did a little bit of digging here. And MONTREZL Harrell been outstanding in the second leg of back-to-backs this season, averaging almost 42 FanDuel points per game in those contests. Now, very limited sample. Don't need the sample police coming after me here, but the numbers bear out. Plays very well in these scenarios. So we add that to a great price. We add that to a matchup with the Atlanta Hawks, a team that we have been targeting all season long with centers. Bottom 5 in fantasy points allowed to the position. Also bottom 5 against versatile bigs like MONTREZL Harrell, a guy that can get up and down the floor. That's been an Achilles heel here for the Atlanta Hawks. So a great matchup, a great price, and been solid in back-to-backs. MONTREZL Harrell, some run here tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play for this big Wednesday night slate. But before we do that, guys, I promised you we're going to run it back, and we're going to do just that. The Beast of the Night contest rolls on here. All you got to do, absolutely free to play, get in the comment section below the video and let me know fantasy points on DraftKings for my Beast of the Night. Closest guests going to win themselves 3 free days of RotoGrinders Premium. Again, going to give you access to everything we have behind the paywall and free to play. A thank you to you guys for checking out the video. Now, let's take a look at who we're voting on, who those fantasy points are going to be. Take a look at my favorite play of the night. You know, Mass, the Beast of the Night. All right, Beast time. We're going to wrap it up at shooting guard. We're going to stay at that 9K threshold here with Zach LaVine of the Bulls, tonight's Beast of the Night. So great spot here for Zach LaVine tonight. Whether you're talking cash games, tournaments, think he's playable across the board. Gives you a great cash game floor. The amount of minutes this guy plays, the shot attempts. Every night, it's somewhere in the 18 to 25 range. So we know this dude is going to get his shots up. And also gives you that huge GPP winning ceiling, getting into the 50s, 60s, potentially 70s in fantasy points in any matchup, let alone one like this in a pace-up spot. Zach LaVine loves to get up and down the floor. I know you've watched him play. This guy's a highlight waiting to happen, so any kind of pace-up game, I really love going to Zach LaVine. And Minnesota, not only is it a pace-up, it's a great matchup. Bottom 10 in fantasy points allowed to shooting guards, bottom 10 in defense versus archetype against scoring wings like Zach LaVine. Great spot once again here tonight, making Zach LaVine easily my favorite play on the board in tonight's Beast of the Night. All right, guys, that wraps up for Wednesday night in the Fantasy Bar. Any comments, questions, feedback, hit me up in the comments section right below the video. Don't forget, fantasy points for Zach LaVine on DraftKings. Closest guess will win 3 free days of RotoGrinders Premium. You can also follow me on Twitter at Beermakersfan. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut. Best of luck tonight, guys. Remember, tomorrow, limited slate of games, so we'll be back once again on Friday. Good luck. Zion, we'll see how it goes here tonight. Go get them, guys, and we'll see you back here on Friday.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist.